Good morning, students. Today we will continue with our topic separation of mixtures. And if you remember, we were doing the separation of solid liquid mixtures. Now, here is the diagram of a curd, and you must have seen your mother or your grandmother sometimes churning curd in kitchen, either manually or by the help of a mixer grinder. Do you remember what do they get when they churn the curd? Well, when the curd is churned, it basically breaks up into butter and buttermilk. The butter being lighter solid floats over the buttermilk. This concept is used in separating several solid liquid mixtures by the method of centrifugation. Now, in this method, the mixtures are rotated at a very high speed, and the difference in their densities separates them. The kind of mixture which can be separated by this method is a solid liquid heterogeneous mixture. Well, it is actually a heterogeneous mixture, but if you will see those mixtures, they will appear homogeneous to you. Like, for example, milk. You will not be able to recognize fat cells present in the milk. Okay, the particles of solid are so small that we cannot see them through our eyes. We have to use a microscope to see them. And at the same time, because being very small in size, they pass through filter paper as well. So this kind of mixtures cannot be separated by filtration. They're so light that they remain dispersed in the liquid. They do not settle down at bottom, so sedimentation process also cannot be used. So for these kind of solid liquid mixtures, we use the method of centrifugation. Now here is the pic. You can see the test tube in the center. It is having solid dispersed in liquid. Now after the centrifugation, the two kind of results are possible with this kind of mixture. If the solid is heavier than the liquid, then it will settle down at the bottom. And in case the solid is lighter than the liquid, then it will float over the liquid. And the basic uses of centrifugation process are in dairies, where it is basically used to separate cream from milk, and it is also used in washing machines, where the machine squeezes out the water from the wet clothes by rotating them at a very high speed. And this process is also used in laboratories or some other testings where the blood cells need to be separated from blood plasma, and it is sometimes also used for separating protein from the blood. Now our next topic is separation of liquid-liquid mixtures. Before we go to the techniques which are involved in separating this kind of mixtures, let us have a look at the types of liquid-liquid mixtures. They are basically of two types. One is homogeneous and the other one is heterogeneous. Now here in this pic we have two kinds of liquid. One is alcohol and water mixture, other is oil and water. Now, if you look at them carefully, the first basic difference which we can note in them is that alcohol and water are soluble in each other. We cannot see the particles of alcohol in between the particles of water. But we talk about oil and water, then oil is not soluble in water. So it forms a separate layer above the water. So the type of mixture where alcohol and water are soluble in each other and they form a uniform mixture are known as homogeneous liquid-liquid mixtures. While oil and water, where they are insoluble in each other and form separate layers, are known as heterogeneous liquid-liquid mixtures. Now have a look at this pic again. In oil and water, the oil being lighter always floats above water. So we use this property of mixtures to separate them by the method of separating funnel. So it is basically used to separate liquid-liquid heterogeneous mixtures which are immiscible in each other. Now here is the setup of a separating funnel technique. Now here the mixture is poured in a separating funnel, and the moment you pour the mixture in a separating funnel, the two liquids form a separate layers. Now here we have taken an example of kerosene oil and water mixture. Kerosene oil forms upper layer while water forms lower layer in the separating funnel. Now at the bottom we have a stopper which controls the flow of liquid into the container. The moment we open the stopper, the lower layer of the liquid starts coming out, and as soon as we collect the entire layer, we close the stopper and we remove the container. Then we bring another container and we open the stopper and pour the upper layer into it. The moment the upper layer is taken out into the second container, the stopper is stopped again. Now coming to this kind of mixtures. Till now we have discussed about the heterogeneous liquid-liquid mixtures that can be separated by separating funnel. What about these kind of mixtures, alcohol and water, which are soluble in each other? We cannot use the method of separating funnel here. Well, for these methods, we basically use the method of fractional distillation. It is used to separate homogeneous liquid-liquid mixtures, but they must have a difference in their boiling point of at least 25 degrees Celsius or more. Now this is the setup of fractional distillation where we are separating alcohol and water mixture. Now here is the distillation flask, which is a type of round bottom flask, and at the top of the distillation flask a fractionating column is inserted into it. Now when we heat the mixture in a distillation flask, the temperature is set in such a manner that only the alcohol changes into vapors. Now since the boiling point of alcohol is lower, so alcohol will change into vapors earlier as compared to water. So the alcohol starts changing into vapors and starts rising up into the fractionating column, while the water remains as liquid in the container. Then through the fractionating column, it enters the right end where a tube is connected, and through the tube the vapors pass through the condenser. And we have already studied that the main purpose of condenser is to condense the vapors so that they change into liquid by cooling them down. So when the vapors are cooled down, they convert into liquid and are then collected in a separate container. Now when the entire alcohol is evaporated and then condensed and collected in a container, the process is stopped and the alcohol is obtained in the separate container, while water is left behind in the distillation flask. Now you will ask, what was the purpose of fractionating column here? Well, if you remember, the evaporation may take place even at room temperatures. So in this condition, there are very good chances that along with alcohol, water also starts rising along with alcohol in the form of vapors up the distillation flask. So as soon as these vapors reach the fractionating column, if you can see very clearly, the fractionating column has very large fractions. So because of which the vapors have to travel greater distance. So when the temperature is lowering down as the vapors are rising and they have to travel larger distances, the water vapors start condensing and changing into liquid and they fall back to the distillation flask. While the alcohol vapors, because of the temperature, high temperature, they retain their vapor state and they move to the right side of the tube which is connected to the fractionating column. Now coming to the uses of fractional distillation, it is mainly used in separating the components of crude oil or petroleum. Now petroleum is a mixture of several oils, petrol, kerosene, diesel, etc. Several of them. And all of them are having different boiling points. So on the basis of the difference in boiling points, the various components of petroleum oil or crude oil are separated. So the two type of separation of mixtures which we have studied today are separation of solid liquid mixtures, and in this we studied the technique of centrifugation. The next is the separation of liquid-liquid mixtures, and here we study two techniques of separating funnel and fractional distillation.